Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. 3 more players who could be on the bubble following the draft. Earlier this off-season, we examined players who could be moved off the roster following what happens during the draft. The Cowboys have 10 draft picks, which is plenty of ammunition to address holes on the roster after the initial wave of free agency. Since then, things have changed, and the team has made a few additional transactions. As we get closer to the draft, the picture of the team's direction once they're on the clock is clearer. With just over a week until the draft, here are 3 more players that could be on the bubble following the draft. Miles Sanders. After signing a free agent contract with the Carolina Panthers, 4 years, $25.4 million in 2023, Miles Sanders disappointed in Carolina and ceded the role as the lead back to others like Chuba Hubbard and Dante Foreman. The spark he provided for the Philadelphia Eagles offense en route to a Pro Bowl nod in 2022 has fizzled out. Since leaving Philadelphia, Sanders has averaged far below 4 yards an attempt and has not eclipsed 500 rushing yards. Dallas also added Javonte Williams to their backfield, and his contract is substantially larger than that of Sanders, with Sanders having a modest $167.5 thousand signing bonus for a veteran. When you read the room, it's apparent why Sanders could be on the chopping block. The Cowboys have hosted several running back talents in the top 2 rounds of the draft for visits, which indicates their dissatisfaction with the running back personnel on the roster. You get the growing sense that Dallas could draft multiple running backs. Ryan Flournoy. Dallas is rumored to be interested in wide receiver and looks primed to take one early should they skip out on running back in the first round. If so, Ryan Flournoy is no better than the 4th receiver in terms of priority on the depth chart. CeeDee Lamb is atop the pecking order. Jalen Tolbert is the team's number 2 receiver and has more skins on the wall than Flournoy, albeit minimal, and Cavani Turpin, with a new contract, has to figure into more of the team's plans at receiver as well. Adding a top 64 top wide receiver in the mix would push Flournoy further down the depth chart. That means Flournoy would have to stave off players vying to be the 5th wide receiver, such as Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Brooks, and Paris Campbell. Heavily complicating things for Flournoy is that the Cowboys traded a 4th-round pick for Mingo in this year's draft. It means something significant for a team like the Cowboys that treats draft picks like gold. Flournoy needs to have himself a big camp in preseason, or he risks being cut from the team sometime this summer. Matt Waletzko. Matt Waletzko finds himself on the roster bubble because he hasn't done enough to make a lasting impact on the team. When Waletzko was drafted in the 5th round of 2022, it was initially thought that Dallas had stumbled on a possible starter down the road and, at worst, a key rotational player. Unfortunately, Waletzko has been neither. Injuries have limited his availability, and Waletzko has only appeared in 11 games over his 3-year career. Waletzko ended his first 2 seasons on injured reserve. The Cowboys suffered a rash of injuries to the offensive line last season. It seemed that Asim Richards, a 2023 5th-round pick, had elevated himself above Waletzko on the depth chart. The Cowboys aren't finished. With the departure of Zach Martin to retirement earlier this offseason, the offensive line will surely be an area of focus for the Cowboys. Dallas has met with 3 offensive linemen expected to be drafted in the middle rounds, making it harder to envision Waletzko having a firm hold on his roster spot. When he took the field recently, Waletzko didn't perform well. If he can't make an impression on new offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, who excels with offensive linemen, Waletzko could be on the chopping block. Cowboys land 2 immediate impact players in consensus NFL mock draft. We are now just 1 week away from the 2025 NFL Draft, and the path for many teams at the top of the first round is beginning to become clearer and clearer by the day. That is absolutely the case for the Dallas Cowboys as well, who hold the number 12 overall pick and need to add some explosive playmakers to their offense to help out quarterback Dak Prescott and new head coach Brian Schottenheimer. And based off the vast majority of mock drafts over the last few weeks, that is exactly what they are going to do. In fact, in a recent NFL mock draft consensus piece, the Big Lead compiled the most common projections for all 32 NFL teams, and it seems that the overwhelming majority believe that Dallas will address their two biggest needs in the first 3 rounds. That, of course, starts with wide receiver, where the consensus is split between Texas Longhorns do-it-all receiver Matthew Golden and big-bodied Arizona star Tetairoa McMillan. Fortunately, the Cowboys could not go wrong with either player. Golden is a blazing fast downfield threat, but is also elite route runner at every level with sure hands, much like Saints' #1 receiver Chris Olave. Meanwhile, McMillan is largely a better complementary piece to Lamb and is more akin to a Mike Evans type for his size, elite catch radius and ability to pull down contested passes. He is also a tremendous red zone threat. Either the way, it appears that Dallas will fill a major need in round 1. But they won't stop there. In round 2 for the Cowboys, the consensus pick is also at another, and arguably more critical, position at running back, with the majority believing that Dallas will take Ohio State running back Quinton Judkins, and finally fill a hole that has plagued them for years. Judkins is a running back that could start day 1 in Dallas thanks to his punishing running style that many have compared to current NFL star Joe Mixon. That said, he also has breakaway speed, elite vision and quickness. In 2 years at Ole Miss and 1 season at Ohio State, Judkins rushed for 3,785 yards and 45 touchdowns, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. He also added 5 receiving touchdowns to the mix. However, he is not the only running back that the Cowboys are looking at either, and they may even grab a second one in round 3. With the number 76 overall pick in round 3, the consensus has Dallas landing Tennessee running back Dylan Sampson, giving the Cowboys offense a lightning-type runner to put alongside the thunder of Judkins. In 3 years at Tennessee, Sampson rushed for 2,492 rushing yards and 35 touchdowns, and was one of the best running backs in the SEC. He ran a 4.42 40-yard dash at Tennessee's Pro Day, and while a bit undersized at 5'8" and 200 pounds, is considered fast, physical, and slippery Tony Pollard-like weapon, according to NFL scout and draft expert Dane Brugler. Suffice it to say, if the consensus holds true and the Cowboys go in this direction, their offense could take a major jump in 2025.